Just see how it goes. All right. So here.
A few minutes late. That's all
All
right.
right, we'll start it.
Yeah.
All right. Time is now 7 p.m. Is this on?
Good.
I'm not hearing an echo. We're starting off strong.
The setup went great.
Can you hear it now? There we go. All right. Time is now 7 p.m. I will now call this regular meeting of the Newington Board of Education to order. We could now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I will now please call the roll.
Mary Beatrice,
Here.
Sean Halloran,
Here.
Marissa Lindsay,
Here.
Timothy Newton,
Here.
Amy Parati, Sam Sharma,
Here.
Brian Skibo,
Here.
Dr. Gail Stanley, Jessica Weaver.
Here. All right. So Chair Parati will be here in a minute, but until then, we'll start with item B, presentation of awards and proclamations, and we will start with the Everyday Hero, and I will hand it over to Dr. Bremmett.
All right. Thank you very much, Vice Chair. Our everyday hero tonight is Nancy Hogan, who is a bus driver with obviously our transportation department. She was nominated by Cherie Dosh, who is a social worker at Newington High School. Specifically, though, she was part of the group from the Nor'easter Academy staff and students. And here's what they wrote. Nancy is a bus driver for the district. She regularly drives all grade levels and is actually my daughter's bus driver. However, she's being nominated for Everyday Hero by the Nor'easter Afternoon Academy by staff and students. She's our regular bus driver. The students have nothing but great things to say about her. She makes sure all her students get home safe, even when it's late in the evening, as our program runs that late. Nancy always has a smile on her face, is kind to the kids, and remembers everyone's names. The kids say she has a great sense of humor. She is always positive. She tries her best to bond with all the students. She connects with students and makes sure she says goodbye to everyone individually. She's respectful and respectable. Nancy even gifted the program some student snacks, which really went over the kids' hearts. On Halloween, she made cookies and gave them to all the staff and students. Staff really appreciate that she's always on time, knows each of us individually, and supports the kids to get to school. Thank you, Nancy, for everything you do. You are really part of our NAA village. Congratulations. We're gonna get a picture done in a minute. Yep, we'll get, we can have Nancy and or Cherie make a few remarks after the pic. Awesome, congratulations.
I said as much as I could say in the nomination, but we love Nancy so much at the program. We have kids who struggle to get to school, and she has literally connected with every single one of them by name. And she gets them to get to school. She gets them on the bus to go home even when they want to walk. And they love her so much. They come sometimes because of Nancy. So we appreciate her.
That's a win.
I am honored and privileged to work in a system that supports everyone in what they do. I do show up every day because I think if I show up, they're showing up. And I think every kid in this town deserves to graduate and move on to better better things. I do all the sports trips and many other things, but these kids are special. And sometimes the people that don't walk the line get overlooked, and that's why I make sure that they are seen. So thank you very much. It's an honor and privilege to drive in this town.
Thank you so much.
All right, stick around because we're going to do a couple more and then we'll do our board remarks. So get the tissues continually ready here. All right, so next we'll be moving on to our resolution honoring Newington professional secretaries. And I think we'll put that up. So I will read out our proclamation into the record. So this is a resolution honoring Newington professional secretaries, which I know we have a lot here. So it says, we have it up there. All right. Whereas Wednesday, April 8th, 2026 has been proclaimed as Newington Professional Secretaries Day. And whereas the Newington Public School secretaries are qualified and dedicated professionals who relate positively to students, staff, and parents. And whereas the Newington Public School secretaries perform secretarial work of a complex, confidential, and responsible nature. And whereas the Newington Public School secretaries set the tone for the school by their pleasant and courteous manner and prompt attention to questions and requests. And whereas the Newington Public School secretaries contribute to the success of the entire school system and are always willing to go above and beyond their assigned duties whenever necessary. Therefore, we do hereby proclaim Wednesday, April 8th, 2026 as Newington Professional Secretaries Day. Be it resolved that we urge all citizens of our community to join us in actively expressing gratitude to the Newington secretaries on this very special day. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of the Newington Board of Education is directed to spread this resolution upon the minutes of the meeting and provide a suitable copy for presentation. So where are our secretaries that want to come up? Hi, Ms. Delzano.
Anyone else want to join? Come
Absolutely,
on,
yeah.
photo op
Let's
time.
do a photo op. Wherever.
Yeah, wherever.
Wherever, guys.
Oh, yeah. All right. Can you take it back to? All right. Screw it up with a finger. All right, 1, 2, 3. Got it. Awesome.
Okay. Hi, my name is Anne Marie Sunderland, and I'm the head secretary at Newington High School, as well as the union president of Local 2930. I want to start by saying thank you for taking the time to recognize and celebrate secretaries across our district today. This acknowledgement matters and is appreciated. The work we do every day adds value to our district and requires real support, respect of our time, and understanding of the critical role we play in keeping our schools running. Appreciation is meaningful, and its support is essential. A school secretary is like a chameleon, constantly adapting, adjusting, and often becoming invisible to ensure everything runs smoothly. And because of this ability to blend in, the work can easily be taken for granted. When programs run seamlessly and the school day moves forward without an issue, it's easy to forget that so much of the success happens because of the secretaries. Secretaries are the ultimate multitaskers. Our days are filled with constant interruptions, phone calls, visitors, teachers, students, administrators, all needing something at once. Yet somehow everything continues to move forward. There's also a common misconception about our role. I often hear, you have to work through the summer, as if our work only matters when school is in session. In reality, it's quite the opposite. The summer is when we can focus deeply on the work behind the scenes, preparing, organizing, and planning for the year ahead. When you're enjoying open house, we're already preparing for winter concerts. While those winter events are happening, we're planning spring concerts, award ceremonies, scholars breakfast, and even graduation. I was once asked why I work so far in advance. The answer is simple. When the unexpected happens, as it always does, we're ready. Our preparation ensures that events our families and communities cherish continue without disruption. Like chameleons, we're also constantly learning and adapting to change, whether it's transitioning from one system to another, Sassy to Power School, School Messenger to Parent Square, Microsoft Word to Google Docs, or paper systems to digital platforms. These changes impact secretaries first and most directly. We are expected to learn new systems quickly, often with minimal, thank you, minimal training, while continuing to meet all of our daily responsibilities. There is no pause, no slowdown. We learn in real time so we can support everyone else. And our roles extend far beyond the desk. At any given moment, we're supporting technology, training staff, offering guidance, listening, and problem solving. We become part IT, part teacher, part counselor, and often the trusted adult for students who need a connection. We are the steady presence in the building, the first voice people hear, the place people turn to when they don't know where to go, and the common moments that feel anything but calm. We don't just keep schools running, we keep hold of school communities together. To all the secretaries, you are not invisible. I see you, I appreciate you, not just today, but every day. Keep being amazing, keep showing up, keep holding it all together, and never underestimate the impact you make, because this work does not happen without you. Thank you. Thank you.
And now Chair Parati will take over as we head on to our next resolution, honoring applied behavioral analysts.
Apologies for my tardiness. I was in school. Yay, education is fun. Resolution honoring Newington behavior analyst, April 8th, 2026. Whereas the Newington Public School System is committed to honoring its behavior analysts and recognizing their contributions to the educational system and their tremendous impact in helping students learn, grow, and thrive. And whereas the Newington School Behavior Analysts are committed to supporting students with specialized needs, ensuring they have the tools to succeed, and most importantly, helping them feel authentically included and valued within our school community. And whereas the Newington School Behavior Analysts' expertise, patience, and commitment make a profound difference in the lives of students every single day. And whereas it is the desire of the Board of Education that behavior analysts should be made aware of their appreciation, we do hereby proclaim Wednesday, April 8th, 2026 as Newington School Behavior Analyst Day. Therefore, be it resolved that we urge all of the citizens of our community to join with us in actively expressing gratitude to our behavior analysts who represent an investment in excellence to our community. Be it further resolved that the Secretary of the Newington Board of Education is directed to spread this resolution upon the minutes of the meeting and to provide a suitable copy for presentation.
Brian Kelly's here and Marilyn. So come on up, Brian Kelly and Marilyn, to accept this honor.
Yeah. Following the secretaries is tough. I don't think I could do it. But I am the second most talented Brian Kelly in the district. So I have that going for me. No, I would just like to say thank you to the special ed department, Dr. Brummett, the board. Since coming here to Newington, we were small in number and we've grown over the years. I think at our core, we just really have a drive to help our neediest students, and just thank you to all of you for helping us do that. So I thank you for acknowledging us.
Extra time, and then Marilyn may want to make a few remarks.
Thank you. So Brian, and I don't know if there's anybody online, but our BCBAs, when I came to the district, we had one BCBA and we are up to 4 BCBAs. And again, could not do that without your support. So thank you to the board for recognizing how important this role is. There are not many schools who have their own BCBAs, and we have 4. It is an incredibly rare thing, actually so rare that the new BCBA guidelines for schools were just instituted. This did not exist before. BCBAs were home-based, they were therapy-based, they were clinically based, and the fact that we have 4 in our district is amazing. The impact that they have on students and teachers and families every day cannot go without saying. They go above and beyond. We've had BCBAs who have gone out to restaurants with parents to help students acclimate and be able to, the skills that they're learning in class, then be able to transfer them to their home environment and even in the community. Again, cannot say enough about this profession. And again, thank you for your support.
Thank you so much. I'd like to open up to board comments. Ms. Weaver. Oh, someone go.
I just want to thank and show appreciation for all of the honorees today. One of the constant themes that I've heard through all 3 presentations is the theme of connections. We connect with our students first thing in the morning. We connect with our students throughout the school day with our secretaries, and we connect, sounds like day and night, with our BCBA staff. So the connections are super, super important. We've talked a lot as a board about the impacts that everybody makes on our students and their success. And so I just want to say thank you so much for all that you do to keep everything moving the way that it needs to be done, in a way that obviously is as totally impactful for our students. And just a special thank you to Miss Nancy, because you were Miss Nancy for my kids. And the kindness and dedication that you're showing to our students at the academy, you also showed my kids from the day that they started kindergarten on. So you were my drivers, you were the driver for my kids. So thank you so much for all that you do for our kids.
Ms. Weaver.
Guys, I gotta give, this is such a good love fest tonight. I love it. Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's being honored tonight, aptly so, because each of them are a really important component of our school. And I think that's why we want to highlight, because I think so many times you're going to hear headlines of like, oh, this teacher, this, or there's this and that. And I think one of the things that's so important is when we talk about everyday heroes, it's the ones that are doing the work every day, and everyone has such an important touch point on our students. And half of why I'm here is because of every single touch point I've had. I was like, I remember having some e-green bus drives. And then to have like Miss Delzingle here, I lived at her house for like all of second grade. Thank you so much. But that's what this community is about, is being, oh, hi, Emily. Yeah, hi, it's good to see you. Yeah. That's what it's about, right? Is the connections that you can make at the school system and the integral part that you play with every single one of our students and our staff. And truly, I know Ms. Tigno always says like, it's a family of learners, but it truly is like, that is a community I'm so proud to have grown up in, and is why I love doing this, because I want to keep supporting all of you, because you're the most amazing. It's just no one leave is really what I'm asking. But it truly is every integral part, the touch points at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day. I mean, the places where I'm going to gossip at, Miss Valenti knows way too much about my life. And the places on the bus where everyone makes a connection or has a little squabble or whatever it may be. And then also our students that are in higher need, and we're seeing so much more need. So Marlena and your team, Brian, thank you so much for what you do, because we continue to see that need grow and at an exponential rate. So thank you to literally every single one of you that does such an important part of it. And please know, it's not an invisible job. It's something that stays with you. And as an alum, as someone who talks about that, you are the people we still talk about to this day. You are the people we remember, and you are the people that get us to where we need to go when we leave those schools. So thank you all for that. And I hope anyone not here tonight, please thank them and congratulate them on their own. But yeah, here's my love fest for you guys. Yay.
Mr. Holleran.
Yeah, it's really hard to capitalize on anything after what Nancy had said. And I think you had spoken so much from the heart. And I think that there is something to be said about that sense of community we have from everybody we're honoring tonight. It's more than just how the system functions. I think each and every one of you has a good understanding of the rhythm and the harmony, and secretaries appreciate this, the chaos of the day-to-day of a school. And I think that that's something we have really special when we talk about the culture. That's what makes it live and breathe. And what I heard from everybody was, thank you, when we need to be thanking you, but support us. And I think that that's when we're talking about budgets and capital improvements and all that stuff too. That's our job, is to support you, to make sure you have the resources to keep being amazing for our kids. So thank you.
Sam, go ahead.
I just want to quickly thank all the awardees, especially Nancy, for going above and beyond. I really appreciate it. Secretaries, I know as a teacher now, I always call, the first person I call in my school is the secretaries, and they taught me so much about frontline, about power school, so many little tricks. So, thank you again for going above and beyond. So I appreciate all the help. Thanks.
Ms. Lindsay.
I want to thank you all, Nancy. Well, I love you. You've been there forever for us. And the secretaries, you guys are amazing, especially for dealing with us parents also, as some of you know. Some of us parents are very hard, so you guys have a very hard job dealing with the parents also. So thank you for everything for all of you. You guys are all wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. Nancy, I'm very sorry I missed your presentation, but I will go back and watch it. But thank you for everything. I'm definitely going to go back and watch it. Shit. Thank you for being here and congratulations. Of course, yes, I'm sure you love your job, and just with the comments, it really shows that we're very lucky to have you here in Newington. Thank you. And for our secretaries, love you guys. All of you, Rachel just hopped out. Hi, everyone. And our behavior analysts, it's I think all of you as with all of our resolutions, but we just appreciate the work that you did. Mr. Holleran said it really well. We support you financially, but also, we have to keep in mind what you're here for and the importance of all of your positions and everything. And we are just very lucky and honored in Newington to have so many great people that work for the school district. And as Marlena said, behavior analysts leading the way. It's just we're just lucky to have you for all of our students, and that's really what we're here for at the end of the day. So we appreciate all of you, and congratulations on your resolutions and awards. Thank you. Yeah, now we have our presentation from Patterson next. So all of our honorees are welcome to stay or go have dinner, whichever you'd like.
Amy, before you move on, this is Tara. Can I say
Hold on.
something?
I'm sorry. Miss Tigno has something to say.
I'm
Miss
sorry.
Tigno is on the line.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
apologize. Sorry, thank you. I wanted to be there in person, but I couldn't. Nancy, congratulations, such well-deserved honors, and you stole my line there, Miss Weaver, but you are certainly a part of our family of learners, BCBAs. Thank you so much. My shout out is to the secretaries across the district that I see all the time, but mainly the high school secretaries that I echo everything that Anne Marie said. Without them, I'll speak personally, I would be an absolute mess. I wouldn't be here right now because I wouldn't be able to find my phone or my car keys or go to a meeting or do anything without them. They are truly everything, every type of superhero packaged into one. So on behalf of Newington High School and our family of learners and entire Newington Public Schools, thank you all so much for all you do for us leaders. You're much appreciated. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Miss Tigno. Okay, now we can welcome our John Patterson team. Dr. Brem, I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome. I'd like to invite up Arlene Torres Ruiz and I believe her colleague Emily. We about 6 to 8 months ago, a grant became available and Arlene did jump on that. She wanted to bring an after-school program both to Patterson, but we also opened it up to all 4 elementary schools, and our 3 have jumped on. But tonight, this will be a highlight of John Patterson's efforts. And this is a grant that allowed us to both interweave literacy instruction after school, but also community service. So without further ado, I'm going to boot up their presentation, but this is a brand new, unique, completely grant-funded program that gives our children some enrichment after school. But I'll let our friends from Patterson talk about the details.
So before we start, I just wanted to give a quick little previous information about, it was a grant funded, it was an application. I threw our names out there, a little proposal. It was like, what? We can just do it. What can go wrong, right? Maybe they didn't even pick it up. They picked it up with our wonderful grant team. And then I have Miss Jessie Dalton and Kim DePolis, who are my media specialists and our pre-K half school classroom teacher. They just took the vision, the little tiny vision I had, and they made it into the program that it is right now. And this is Miss Emily Shepard, who is one of the teachers in the program. And I just wanted to kind of say that these women and these teachers, and with Kim and Miss Dalton, have taken this program from this little tiny proposal to an amazing program that has a lot of cool things coming up. So, okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Shepard. So when we first, I didn't hear much about it, and I guess it was posted on our email, and Arlene's like, do you want to do the program? I was like, sure. And so I'm really happy I said yes to it. So this is a program that is 14 weeks, and it brings together grades 1, 2, and 3, students from across all the buildings. And it's showing community awareness, practice inquiry-based literacy, and takes meaningful action together. We try to tie the program into what we're learning in school. The students are working together as a partnership. The students are taking action, doing the actual work, and then it's equity and access. It's free to and open to all students.
And it's connected with real partners. So it's not something just in Patterson, or it's actual real partners.
And we'll talk more about that. Here are the numbers. So this program is spread across 3 buildings. We have over 90 students, 4 grade levels. It's lasting 14 weeks up until like the very end of school. We have 2 cycles, and we'll talk more about those 2 cycles. And then we have 5 community partners as well.
And each cycle does have a showcase so that parents can come and see. We want them to come and have that connection to what the program is doing.
I'll speak to this one here. So each classroom has 1 teacher, 1 paraprofessional, or 2, just depends on the class. And then we have 1 student leader, which is a 4th grade student. In my classroom, I have 3 4th grade students who are very helpful. I had 1 a couple years back, which was nice to have them come back. So the first 2 weeks are getting the students excited and having them build that strong community. Weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6, we are working with the Humane Society, which is our first cycle. And I can't really speak too much about the other 2 schools, but right now the students are very active in making tie blankets. I have them here, and I'll show after, and then some adoption posters. Week 7 is actually after break. So on Monday, the students will be, the families are coming in, and they're going to be seeing all the work they've done, the posters, the blankets.
It's our first showcase.
Our first showcase, yes.
Here in Newington.
Yeah. It'll be at I think it's the media center. And then weeks 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, we're going to start our new cycle. And then the last week will be that showcase for the second cycle.
And a little bit about the showcases. So a lot of the program is about connecting our students, our families from our open choice students. So the showcase are meant to connect both communities. So the first one will be here in Newington and for Patterson. And then the second one is going to be in Hartford. So it'll be something that's connecting both communities.
So the student experience, and then we'll go to the next slide, please. And here is breaking it down for each grade level. So I'm teaching grade 1. I teach grade 1 typically, but I also am for the program. So we try to align all of the content to the benchmark program essential questions. So the first one is, why do people get involved in their community? So you write a story about, can I be your dog? And then the students are making tie blankets for the animals at the Humane Society. Grade 2 is doing the same thing, making tie blankets. And theirs is, how do community members support each other? And then grade 3 is making scratching posts for cats.
Yeah, it's actually pretty hard.
A lot of gluing, a lot of cutting. I don't know how to do that, but they're really enjoying it.
And we really wanted to make that a piece of the program and embed that literacy piece of it. Because that's, you know, the academic piece, and SEL makes our whole child, right? And the reason you see grade 1, 2, and 3 is because originally that was going to be the program is for those grades. Now we also have grade 4, which is a leadership. It's another program. It's a leadership program. But because we were all together, we decided to use both, and we used grade 4 as the leadership students who are helping the rest of the kids access their projects and their learning.
And please enjoy this cute little video that Mrs. Dalton made.
So we went week 5. It has all of it so far, so you'll get to see the most bang for your buck.
Let's do this. Can you feel the fire running through your veins? Now you're burning brighter, don't look away. Shout out to the legends, rising from the wreckage. Count down the seconds, it's our touring days. Let's do this. I know we've got a long way to go.
To see it in action, like in real life, is really, really cool. That the cat scratch thing that was really cool. I never thought, when I walked in, I'm like, what are these things? And then I scratched the kids are, this scratch. I was like, oh, I'm allergic to cats, so I can't get it. But it is just amazing, the things that they have done so far.
All students.
All student made, going to the Connecticut Humane Society. They made their posters of their animals that need adopting. I have a favorite one that I really want to adopt. And his name
gotta read that one.
His name is what's his name?
Ian Hahn made
Ian Hahn made it.
Courage.
What's his name?
Courage.
Courage. Oh my God. I just like this. It says, "Don't touch my soft blanket," and I'm like, I get it.
He's looking at the picture and was thinking like what the dog would be saying.
Yeah. So he was the cutest little dog. I'm like, Ian, you just made me want to get this dog, but my husband won't let me. So I'm gonna see what I can do.
Well, he said, so since he was like, thought it was a girl, so he's like, I'm sassy, and then he changed it to, he's like, oh, it's a boy, so I'm gonna say, oh, it's cool. So then we have, this one was done on, I think Canva, I want to say. So you can see some students, the older students used Canva to make their posters.
So lots of different ways to make their posters and get the word out there of our pets that need to be adopted. A lot of it was, how can we help the Connecticut Humane Society, and we need them to get more get them adopted and get them blankets. So the kids went ahead and started doing that. And I have to say, our teachers, Miss Delaney, Miss Flint, Miss Emily, what's the shepherd? Okay, Miss Emily.
I have a new name.
New name. And our Miss McCary, our para, Miss Beatriz, our para, Miss Jasmine.
Miss Jasmine, Miss Voss.
Miss
and then
Voss.
Mrs. W.
And Mrs. W have had just so much fun. So when I go in there, they're always with the kids
On the floor.
on the floor, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So it is amazing to see.
So So this is really just talking about,
What you just- yeah.
what we just talked about, the tie blankets, equal access for everybody, making a difference, and they're working together. And it's interesting to see like the first graders not knowing how to tie, but they want to cut. And I'm like, well, there's no more cutting, so we gotta start tying. So it's fun.
So they had to read and do all that and then do their pieces. And everything goes directly to the shelter animal. So. You wanna do this one? Yeah. All right, so that project 2 is we're actually in the midst of getting everything together for our second project. It's inspired by the floating fields. So the students are partnering with the Active City Hartford to advocate for Skyline softball. They really need a field to call their own. They really don't have a field. So I know our second part of this was persuasive. So they want to, how do we advocate? How do we fight? How do we persuade, have a persuasive essay or anything to get what people need? How do we help community? So the Skyline softball, we want to raise the field. What students are going to be doing is researching about the Skyline softball field access situation. They're going to write persuasive letters. So now this one's more of like the writing piece. And the advocacy versus the hands-on. So we kind of try to do a little bit of both.
Balance, yeah.
Balance. They're going to write letters to the Hartford Parks and Recreation. They're going to film advocacy videos. And they're going to be using their real voice to make that change and see how can we help that team. And then we want to showcase, and we're working really hard right now on getting the Hartford Athletics Women's Game Showcase. We're going to present our letters, our videos during a Hartford Athletics Women's game on June 15th. We're working on that. Oh, that's 10 minutes. Sorry. So that they can they have the families to see their hard work of advocating for the softball team. And so what we're seeing, I wanted you guys to hear one of our students and what they feel about the program. Very long.
Hi, Evan. I have a question for you.
2 minutes.
How are you enjoying our after-school Beyond the Bell program?
Cutest thing ever.
Yeah, it's really fun. What have you liked so far about it?
I liked it because we've been doing a lot of cool things, like we made tie blankets for the pets at the Humane Society.
Awesome. All right, can you tell me, so we're helping the Humane Society out, right?
Yeah.
And are they a place in our community?
Yes.
They are. So the tie blankets do you think that they're a helpful project that we're working on?
Yes.
Yeah, because what are they going to go to?
The Humane Society.
And are they going to people?
No, the pets.
Oh, yeah. Now,
My name is Chloe and I'm in 2nd grade.
Hi, Chloe. So, Chloe, how do you feel about the after-school Beyond the Bell program? How's it been so far?
Good.
Yeah, what do you like about it?
I like that we could do it together.
Oh, yeah. Are you working on a project right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the project you're working on?
It's cat scratch.
Yeah, the cat scratchers. And do you remember who the project is for?
The project is for the
Yeah, the Connecticut Humane Society. And so is it for cats? Yeah, and do these cats have homes?
No.
They don't have homes. So is this something that is helpful for the cats to help them feel safe and comfortable in the shelter? Yeah. Why do you think this is an important project for us to be doing? How is it helpful?
Because they'll feel comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. So you think that this is helpful for our community? And you're having fun doing it?
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks,
I'm
Chloe.
Mateo.
Yeah, and Mateo, what grade are you in?
3rd.
You're in 3rd grade. So Mateo, how do you feel about the Beyond the Bell program so far?
Happy.
I
like it.
You like it? What do you like doing?
I like so I first started cutting the cat scratcher little things, and now I'm making the dog beds.
Awesome.
I really like making the dog beds.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about the projects we're doing? Why are we doing these projects?
Like
Okay.
sheltered animals have the stuff they need.
Absolutely. So it's helpful for our community because these animals are in are at the Humane Society and they're, like you said, they're shelter pets. So you think that working on these projects is helping them to find comfort where they are? Yeah, and it's fun to work on. So you've been working on 2 projects. The first project is a cat scratching box?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Like cat scratch.
Yeah. Okay. And then the second project is it's a blanket?
The dog bed.
It's a dog bed. So it's made out of fleece and how do you put the bed together? What do you do?
So you first cut strips. Then after you cut the strips, you tie them.
Awesome. And this has been a fun project to do with your classmates? Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Mateo. You're doing a great job.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Aiden and I'm in 4th grade.
Hi, Aiden. So, Aiden, how do you feel about the Beyond the Bell program so far?
I think it's good.
Yeah. What do you like about it so far?
We are working on these dog tea blankets.
Oh, yeah. And has it been fun?
Yes.
Alrighty. So, do you think that this has been a helpful project for our community? Yeah. Why do you think this is a helpful project? What do you know?
Because we're giving this to the Connecticut Humane Society and for the dogs who have weight.
Yeah. So, is this something that might bring them comfort because they're shelter pets right now?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and it's fun to work on this?
Yes.
And you think that this is good for our community?
I really do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aiden.
They love the cat scratcher.
Oh, yes.
So actually, Aiden is a 4th grade student who is part of the 4th grade student leaders, and I'll have Miss Emily talk about that.
So we have about 3 4th grade students in each classroom, and they're used to help the younger students to model for them, to help them, and they really enjoy it. Because what they do is kind of helps the students, like a good model for what they need to be doing. They're kind, they're patient, and they're encouraging, and it's working really, really well. I don't know if you have anything else to say about that.
No, I think that what we want the 4th grade students to feel is like, they are that guiding, they're the top dogs, right? In the school. So they need to have that connection with those little ones and say, no, we're gonna do this, let me help you with that, guiding them and encouraging them and just kind of having that growth mindset during the project. So thank you. Okay, and so what comes next? Like we said, there's a showcase. Right here. There's a showcase 1. Like we said, in week 7, it's coming up, and it's going to be including the blankets for the community and the cat scratchers of the Connecticut Humane Society. 4th grade students leaders will screen their documentation videos, and families are invited to participate and engage with student learning. The next one will be in June, and that will be TBD, but it will be around like I said, the partnership with the Skyline softball, and it will be the end of the program celebration featuring how the students reflect on full learning journey and present a broader community audience, and hopefully, make connections between our OC families and from Hartford and our Newington families. So TBD on that, and thank you so much. Beyond the Bell is what happens when we believe in students as community members, not just learners. When we give them real problems, real partners, and real audiences for their work, this is what happens. We have that community building, that learning, all in academic, SEL, and that's your whole kid right there. That's your whole child. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any comments or questions? Our presenters, Ms. Weaver. Just want to say it's so full circle. Hi, Emily.
Hi, Jess.
Emily and I graduated together from Newington High back in, we won't say what year now. No, we're not saying that. But yeah, it's really cool to see full circle, obviously. I knew back then she was going to be awesome. So,
same to you.
Yeah.
But it's really super cool, I think, to see, especially when, we constantly talk about, particularly when we're doing budget or anything else, the vision, mission, and goals of NPS, and making sure that we have our portrait of the graduate, which starts at a very young age, which is looking at how we can have critical thinkers, ones that are good citizens and good communicators. And I think it's really great that it's already tied in right here with these kinds of programming. And I think it's really great to have that, especially in our local community, to have them be really like citizens, because yes, we are responsible for them for our, X amount of hours during the day at the schools. But really they are our little citizens of society, and making them understand a tie with community at this early age is really awesome. So just want to thank you for tying in all of that and uplifting, all the things that are happening, particularly as we were trying to implement benchmark in the last couple of years, putting in those literacy standards while also trying to do SEL, while also doing this. It's really great to see just when holistic education comes into form. So thank you for your presentation. It's great.
Thank you. Start them young.
Yes.
Dr. Stanley?
Thank you both for the presentation. I just have a couple questions about details about the program. So who nominates the students to get in? Like, how do you get in, and when does this program occur?
So a part of the grant is we have to have some of our CRET students that come from Hartford. So that was part of the grant. So we had those. And then it was really teachers who nominated whoever they thought would, like it. And we reached out to the parents. The parents were like, yes. There was a lot of parents, so that we didn't think it's gonna be so many. So, yeah, I think like one or two that, we had to be like, oh, a wait list. But the wait list, 2 people that we had, we were able to just push them in. So it was pretty much teacher. We left it up to the teachers.
Okay, so so the correct students automatically came in, or it was sort of a
Also,
nomination?
we asked the parent, it's whatever, if the parent wanted. Some parents said no, some parents said yes. So.
Okay. And then when does this program happen, during the school day, or is it
On
after?
Monday, on
Okay.
Mondays after school.
After school.
And it's from
3:30 to 4:20. 4:30 is when they really get picked up, but.
Okay.
All I
Good
know is
hour.
I'm the one that says bus is all clear. I'm good.
Excellent. And so the funding for this program from the grant, some details. What does the funding cover? Is it teachers, materials, transportation, all of it? And how long is that funding?
It's just this school year, so it's a one-shot program. The grant, because it's also at 2 other schools, it's $100,000 grant.
Okay, perfect. And then is there a chance to reapply, or?
We'll wait and see if there's another application process, and I'll talk to the constituents and see if they're willing to do it again, but I'd love to, based on what I'm hearing tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry, a couple more
No,
questions,
no,
like rapid
go
fire
ahead.
here. Are you planning to include other towns beyond the Hartford community outreach? Because the correct students are coming from all over. I'm assuming not just Hartford?
Just Hartford.
Just Hartford? Okay. And then why only 3 buildings? Why not all 4 of them?
I believe it was they didn't have enough staff.
Staff, okay.
Yeah. That will, it's it was staff, not enough staff.
Limited funding or staff for?
Not limited funding.
We could have ran it at all 4 schools, but we had to make sure that we had staff to run it. So it's teachers get paid, of course, paras get paid, but we can't compel them to do the program. So there was one school that didn't have enough interest.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. This was, I think I covered everything. I appreciate your time and coming here, and it sounds like a fabulous thing, and thank you for finding it and thinking of it. It sounds like a really great way to get these kids working together and thinking beyond their day to day. So this is great.
And the main goal for, that I really wanted is just to have that connection with the families. That was such a big goal for me, for us, for the team. We wanted, so that's why those showcases are so important, because that's where we want to have those families come. You gotta come because your kid is, your student, your child is showing something, so you gotta come. So it's like, it's driving them a little bit.
Yeah, we sent home a flyer today with all the information for the first showcase. So hopefully we got a lot of families to pop in.
I'm really, really, really proud and passionate of what this team has done. The teachers and Jesse, I'm just really, really proud of this. So
Just a question, how did the topics come up in the partnerships? Was that like you guys had to find them with like, so go out into the community?
It was a very, just a skeleton. When I presented it, Jessie was like, oh my God, this will be great. And she has a mind. She's amazing. So I said, I've done this in a previous district where we did the same exact thing and showcasing. So I kind of gave her that piece, and we wanted to make sure that it comes from the Newington and from Hartford, so that is that community connection. But yeah, they reached out. I know that the other schools, I know it was Rooster
Company and then Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, and they did a
for
lot. They did
Food to table.
food to table, something
Something
with
like that with animals.
can't talk speak to them, but they are doing the same thing where we are reaching out to our community.
Food to table.
Farm to table. Again, we only know what Patterson is, but we do know that the main structure is we're connecting our community with our schools.
That's awesome. And I think the like with the next cycle sounds really awesome too. Like obviously advocacy and like writing letters to Parks and Rec and like all of that, it's work that we've all done around the table too. Like, but it's so awesome that like elementary students are able at that young age. And then I love that partnership with the athletics. Like that's in Hartford, right? And super cool to like involve the community in Hartford. I just think it's fantastic. And yeah, I would love to see this be able to continue. And maybe next year we'll sneak it in. Maybe there's a grant, maybe not, but who knows? It would be a really cool thing to continue. And it sounds like a really good opportunity for those students. And that, like you said, that community, like bringing the families that reside in Hartford, because they're not always part of the Newington community, and get them to be a part of it. Yeah.
There is a little side piece to the grant, which is the family ambassadors. We're only kind of doing it in Patterson, where we're using the same showcase in families and connecting our Hartford families with our Newington families with the young kids, like the grade 1, so that they kind of have this connection with each other, and they go to the events. So now you have somebody there that kind of, I remember you, I remember. And so the showcase too is going to be big, because that's where it's like a low key, chill kind of time where they're just meeting, and we're just kind of intentionally making that happen. And I think that's our goal for the next showcase. So
that's great.
hopefully.
Thank you so much. Any other questions or comments? Thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
for everything
Sorry
you're
so
doing.
long.
No, all good. Thank you.
Thank you. Farm to table, got it.
Farm to table. Are you not? Oh,
Let me just redo it.
okay. And at this time, we will open up for public participation on any matter related to board responsibilities. Oh, there we go. So if you're in the room, you come to head of the table. Yeah, no, you're good. And, oh, Pete. Thanks, Amanda. Just state your name and address for the record, please. You're good.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Amanda Miano, 67 High Ridge Drive. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm a parent of 3 children in the district, 1 in 8th grade at Kellogg, 1 in 4th grade, and 1 in pre-K 3 afternoon program at Anna Reynolds. I want to begin by saying how much I appreciate the incredible staff and teachers in our district. They go above and beyond every day, not just in the classroom, but by supporting students at sporting events, theater productions, and so much more. This commitment is what makes community so special. I also recognize that the board, I'm sorry, this got all out of order. Sorry. Okay, basically, I wanted to address the school calendar. And I recognize that the board has had thoughtful discussions in the past of being inclusive of many holidays and celebrating our community, and I respect the effort and appreciate it. I'm also speaking not just for myself, but other parents who have thanked me for coming here tonight to speak on their behalf. I want to be clear, this is not about needing days off. I work from home and I do not rely on school to be a childcare system for my children. My concern is about the overall structure of the calendar and its impact on students. The increasing number of holidays and breaks is creating inconsistency, and combined with unpredictable weather has now pushed the school year nearly to the end of June. These frequent interruptions are especially challenging for students who struggle with change and rely on routine. For them, consistency is essential, and the current calendar can make it hard to stay focused and engaged. I believe there is a more balanced approach. I would strongly encourage the board to consider surveying both students and staff to better understand which holidays are widely observed. If a certain agreed upon percentage of school community celebrates a particular holiday, then it makes sense to formally recognize it in the calendar. I acknowledge this was done previously, but ultimately decided to recognize all of which unfortunately is just not realistic. For other holidays, a flexible option such as a limited number of floating excuse days could allow families to observe what is meaningful to them without disrupting the full school calendar. I also ask that you take a look at the timing of breaks, particularly in February, and reconsider holidays that are less commonly observed in workplaces today, such as Good Friday. Most places of business do not allow this holiday as a scheduled day off. This is about finding a solution that respects diversity while also maintaining consistency, protecting instructional time, and keeping the school year within a reasonable time frame. We have a strong supportive community, and I truly believe we can work together to create a better balance. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if there's anyone online, you can raise your hand as well to be recognized. Not seeing anyone else. Okay, Ms. Fiona, we are, as you know, probably talking about the school calendar later on in the agenda, so if you stick around. Okay. Thank you for coming. And at this time, I will turn it over to our standing committee items, and we have our student reps, Abby and Danny.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
So we have a few updates for this month. So just to start with what's happening inside the high school. So we're currently celebrating our Spirit Week for Spring Pep Rally. So right before we conclude for spring break. So this week we've had Why Is This in My Closet Day, Color Wars, Bikers vs. Surfers, Dress Is My Type Day, and Blue and Gold Day. And then on Friday, we're going to have our pep rally, which all of the Stuco officers and reps have been working really hard. So we're planning games like Rochambeau, Noodle Relay, Lip Sync Battle, and Staff Superlatives. So we're all really excited and trying to get everyone hyped up for Friday. And yesterday we had the Voice of Change program, which was facilitated by student leaders and adults, and it was led by Derek Hall and Jason Fredland. The goal of the program is just to bring together the sophomore class with some junior and senior student leaders and then adults in our building to shine light on the impact of prejudice, bullying, and discrimination. So students seemed to enjoy the program, and there were a lot of comments on how meaningful it was and the big impacts that it had. So we're really glad to have been able to continue it this year and hopefully next year as well. Then tomorrow we have the career fair, and we're going to have a bunch of career professionals coming into the high school to talk to students about future career paths. I know some people like Parks and Rec sometimes comes to talk about summer job opportunities or internships. So it's a really great opportunity for students to get to go explore that. And then staff and students participated in a Green Spirit Day to support an NPS staff member and their child who's undergoing medical issues. So we have a picture of a bunch of our staff who participated in the Spirit Day and just to show our support. And then the academies held their annual breakfast where students Morgan Tucker and Juju Flores got the chance to speak about their experiences in the academy. And we had a lot of local community members that were able to stop by and just talk to students who were involved in clubs like DECA and FBLA, HOSA, and get to talk about the different classes that we offer within the academy and the different opportunities that are there.
In terms of clubs, March is always a big month for competitions and any clubs that have their competitions. So first of all, Student Council held their monthly community outreach event, and they went to the Jefferson House and had the chance to chat with residents and play bingo with them. And then on March 14th, the HOSA chapter attended the State Leadership Conference at Waterbury Career Academy, and 12 students placed in the top 3. Then on March 17th, both Ed Rising and FBLA had their state conferences. All Ed Rising students were able to place under the advisor, Ms. Batista, and they worked hard to reach the second round of competitions, and every member was able to get up on their podium. And then also FBLA had their state competition at the in Hartford, and 46 students placed in the top 5. And many students in our town received statewide recognition and awards for the work they've put in the chapter and in the state community. And they also recently just had their annual New York City trip, where they got to explore the city for a day and see many exciting landmarks. There's a photo down there. It was a little cold and windy, but always an enjoyable trip nonetheless.
So in terms of sports, so spring sports have been up and running, and a lot of games have been starting. So teams have been working hard in that shift from scrimmages to now games, which is really exciting. We also have Unified Sports. There's a picture right here. They got to show off their basketball skills versus Greenwich on Saturday night at Mohegan Sun Arena. So this was a really fun opportunity for them to get to play on the big court and everything. And then right in this picture, we have listed all of our winter all-conference athletes. So we had a huge number of athletes receive this honor, and we're really proud of them. So we wanted to be able to shout them out a little bit.
And then for the middle schoolers, over at Kellogg, the PTO will be hosting their Y2K dance for students on April 10th. They also will be having, or they had a grade 7 trip to the Museum of Science in Boston on April 2nd. And then also a 7th grade student, Maya S., had been named the winner in the U.S. Senator Chris Murphy's 10th annual Martin Luther King Jr. Day Essay Challenge, where she was one of only 15 students selected from over 1,000 entries across Connecticut. And this is a huge honor for her to receive, and we're incredibly proud. In Wallace, Academy students took a trip to Pratt & Whitney to explore will be taking a trip to explore their facilities at Pratt & Whitney. And then they're also preparing for their Wallace Got Talent, which will have auditions this month. And then the PAC parents hosted the Harlem Wizards in mid-March, which was a fun way for high school, middle school, and elementary students to come together and play basketball together.
And then just to wrap up for this month, we have our shout outs. So we wanted to say congratulations to Nick Winiarski and Brooklyn Bradley for being selected for the CAS Outstanding Art Award. And they were able to attend an event to honor their success and then there's Mr. Salmon and Ms. Stepien who were able to go with them. So it was super exciting. And then we wanted to shout out Brayden Lenahan, Brianna Wheeler, Hannah Fleming, Kavi Mather, and Matthew Brown, who were all chosen to attend All States for Choir and Band. And then a big congrats to Thomas DiNapoli, who received a full ride to University of Hartford. So he's pictured right here. He had a little package that came to the school, so it was very exciting for him. Yeah, and that's all we have right now. So if there are any questions or comments, we'd love to answer.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for student reps? Dr. Stanley?
Just a comment. Thank you guys for that excellent presentation. And I really wish I would have brought my Anastasia program so you could autograph it, because that was amazing.
Mr. Halloran?
I just thank you as always. I love the updates. You do a great job. You're right in that period of school where it's not super crazy, but it's also not super slow yet, but you kind of enjoy it a little, because then you're going to go headlong into end of year stuff. So always appreciate it. Sounds like a lot of fun stuff, a lot of competitions. Thank you for the updates on the middle school. That Y2K dance sounds fun, because that was the year I actually had my prom. But thank you. Appreciate it as always. That was a fun report. Thank you.
Ms. Weaver?
Yeah, I just want to echo the sentiments. I mean, it's humbling. The Y2K is now a throwback, really. So, yeah, want to echo to Dr. Stanley's sentiments for a lot of us that got to attend. Anastasia, great job, both of you. We love stage crew. We love our on talent, and Brooklyn was amazing. I mean, like, there's just wow. There was a lot of talent. Yeah, I think us three went. And shout out to the culinary kids as well, who made great food before. So that was awesome. And yeah, I think just always great to hear. Congratulations to all of our awesome students doing some awesome, cool things. It's really great to see. And I just want to also say it's always great. Thanks for the update on the unified sports. It's one of the things that was really cool when I was there and just continues to be, I think, a really incredible program that Newington clearly is a leader on. So always great to see. And I know May 1st is coming up, Abby, so I won't put you on the spot, but always let us know how that's going, because I know college decisions are, and clearly people are getting full rides, so congrats to those. But, let us know.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys. Have a great evening.
Bye. All right. Policy committee updates, Ms. Weaver.
Woo, the best of the best. Okay, so I'll just go quickly over. We will be discussing, so I'll defer to the end of our agenda here. We will be going over our nutrition policy that has kind of come forth a couple times, that has made its way through multiple rounds. So we'll be asking to vote on that tonight. And then a couple more. We are finally making it through the 9,000s slowly but surely, and we will get there. We also, just to discuss some of the things that have been on the agenda, we're still waiting to hear back from admin on some of the 2000 policies, as well as some updates from the American Library and the Connecticut Library Association on the library media material selection and text selection guidelines. So that just made us prompt us to look at some of the policies surrounding that. So we're referring back to any library media staff and admin review for those ones. And then there was also one on a little one on 5122 that I will defer to. We deferred it back to curriculum committee. That was just on assignment of students to classes. I think that might be a reflection of new law, but not sure. And then we'll just kind of go through the 9,000 policies later on in that. And then I'll say it again multiple times, but our next policy committee meeting will be April 20th. Is that right? Cool. At 6:30.
Thank you.
Did I miss anything, guys?
The 20th at 6:30. Yeah, good. Okay. No questions, comments? Okay, thank you. The curriculum committee met twice since last update on March 17th and March 30th. At both meetings, we looked at some policies proactively to then hand over to our policy committee. So Ms. Freeman took the first stab at some recommendations and then reviewed it with the curriculum committee. And then we will share it with you guys as whenever you're ready. And then, yeah, so that the goal was to give early feedback from a curriculum perspective so that you can take those suggestions. You can obviously wordsmith because you guys are the experts at that. And well, Sean really enjoys it, I think, but not me so much. And then on the 17th at our meeting, we looked at the internal assessment data to see how our students are doing mid-year. There was a lot of growth that we saw in literacy across all three levels, elementary, middle, and high school. And most importantly, we saw a gap, we're seeing gap closures for our Hispanic students in literacy and for our Black students in math at every level. So obviously the goal is to close the gap, but also maintain the high performance for all students. So I think it was great to see that the gap closures for some of our marginalized students. So that was really a good celebration that we had. There will be a final report by the June 10th board meeting. And then Ms. Freeman stated that if we continue to see these positive trends, they're going to be looking at what's going well and what's working so that we can replicate the successes in other areas and obviously continue on those successes to hopefully close the gap even more and then continue to see students succeed. The last meeting, I was unfortunately online, but I'm sorry I missed it. But Ms. Freeman had all of the elective or all of our courses on the wall, and then Sean and Tim were able to pick a student profile and then build their own schedules for junior and senior year. Part of this was because we have so many electives, and we have all dual enrollment courses where we're getting college credits. And so as students are, especially juniors and seniors, are able to, they've done their core classes, they're able to take things that are interesting to them or will set them up for success in the future or provide them with college credits for, you know, what they want to do when they grow up, if they're going to college, or just what they're interested in if they're not. So they got to kind of pick and think about their personal persona and then pick courses that would interest them. And it was a very interesting discussion. And I'm very sorry I missed it, but I do remember picking classes in high school, and I got to do like the art classes because that was fun when I did all of my core requirements. And then also the other great point is that we've got, we have a lot of courses that are evolving and keeping up with current events and our student demographics. So there's courses in, there's a Italian for bilingual learners, where if you already know English and Spanish, you can learn Italian quickly, faster. That works. All of them work. So you can learn Italian faster, and then you got 2 years of Italian in 1 year. Or there's, you know, all of our women's studies and Pacific Island, like all of the courses that we're offering and have been offering for several years, and then some newer ones like some new courses that will keep up with current events that can help our students understand what's going on in the world and also like the history behind it and all of that. So we are actually really proud to have all of the courses, electives specifically, that we're able to offer to our community. And it was a really cool exercise to see. And the next update, our next meeting on April 20th at 6:30 p.m. Ms. Batista will be coming to give, oh shoot, is it? Yeah. Okay. We don't have to. You should come to our meeting. Ms. Batista will be there to give us an update on our Educator Rising program that we have as well. Yeah, so we might have to, I think she had a limited schedule, so we actually set it way in advance. But yeah, well. Oh. Literally no, because I have class. It's okay though. It's okay.
Our schedule is absolutely limited.
Yeah. Literally 2 days. And we really want to hear from her. Any questions for the curriculum committee? Dr. Stanley.
It's for the electives, when the juniors and seniors are coming up and choosing, do they get a heavy amount of counseling for as what are prerequisites for their ambition schools?
We'll turn that over to Ms. Freeman.
I think the answer on that would be it depends. So in terms of Dr. Stanley, when you ask about prerequisites, you're not talking about the courses that you needed before to get into the current course, correct? You're looking at prerequisites for when you're going to college. Yes. And there's kind of a standard now in college of what they expect to see on a transcript in terms of the numbers of years of math and which math courses. Same thing with world language. So students who are headed for four-year universities, whether those are state schools like University of Connecticut or Ivies, they're well aware of what those are. But coming into junior year is a time when students maybe who are a little uncertain about what life might be after graduation, I think that Mr. Holloran or Mr. Newton played one of those students. They weren't really sure what they wanted to do. And that was kind of the whole point of it, is that students have an opportunity to maybe take a dual enrollment course, so they have a college credit under their belt, should that be a path that they want to choose. They have an opportunity to participate in 1 or 2 classes in a CTE pathway, like, oh, I never really knew that I would like business. I think what's tough for kids is that they're 15 and 16 years old. And sometimes it's really hard to know when you're that young what those aspirations want, that we want. So again, I do think it was Mr. Holland, you weren't really sure what you wanted to do when you graduate. You wanted to kind of keep all doors open. Yeah. That was kind of the whole point of it, is to show that even though that students are still thinking about that and maybe don't have their mindsets, they can build a transcript for themselves that's going to open multiple doors for them.
And just from having a sophomore this year in the course selection, they do get information and guidance just in general, and then they can always reach out to their counselor if they have specific questions or whatever. So there's a lot of just like information shared about the courses that are available, and they're able to then choose what interests them. Any other questions, comments? Okay, I guess we'll fight for this room next on April 20th. Okay. We'll post the actual schedules for both committees online as required by state law.
I think from like public participation, we should have different times. So yeah. Okay.
All right. We are not talking on mic, so just to catch up, everyone, we will probably change the time or time of one of the committees so that all members of the public don't have to choose between the two of us. But we're better. All right, update, new business, update on the 26-27 budget. So last time we met was a while ago, I think, right? So since we last met, and Dr. Brummett, please step in where needed. But since last time we met,
Early March.
Okay, so the town council did their public hearing on their initial budget. They cut, unfortunately, the town manager had cut 800,000 from our bus request, and then the town council cut the rest of the bus request. So right now our capital ask for buses is at 0. From information that we've received from staff, they cut the Chafee parking lot to the amount of the actual price that it'll cost to pave Chafee. So we're still gonna be able to pave the parking lot with a new lower price or quote. And then we will be able to replace the John Patterson roof in the early education, early childhood wing.
Early childhood wing and the door that you enter into to get to that wing.
So that's the part of the school that's currently leaking. The media center, which also has a older roof, is not included in the capital budget currently. That part was cut as well. As far as our operating goes, they have not made any cuts currently, but we have just had brief caucus discussions. And we did hear, is it on our? I think it's on our agenda for next time. But we were told from the town that so this health benefit credit that we've seen in the past this year, the estimate is, as of now, the projected health benefit credit will be about 500,000 coming back to the town, with the caveat that things can change and claims can come in and numbers, insurance happen. There's everything that happens with insurance could go down, could go up. We don't know, but we did let the council know that we are expecting to receive a $500 credit for health benefit. And they might take that into consideration if with their budget. They're still deliberating. We don't really have any other numbers per se on them. Ms. Weaver.
Yeah, and I would just note that it's incredibly volatile, that number, because we've done MOUs in the past for 400,000, I want to say, but then last year, I believe we were in a deficit of
We were in a deficit.
600,000. So
And I think
that's quite a swing.
for the newer board members, what the health benefit credit is we are told what to budget for health insurance by the town's agent of record. And we have I will call it a hold harmless situation where as long as we budget what we've been told, even if we come in under budget, the town will still backfill any shortfalls. On the plus side, if for some reason the claims come in lower than what we budgeted, the board does receive a credit. Right now, and over the past several years, we've had little to no credits, very low credits, or in the negative, which in the negative is, again, we're held harmless. The board does not have to pay back a negative credit. The caution is that claims are still being processed up until the end of June. So whether or not that $500,000 credit holds up, we will not know until the fall. So it is potentially good news, but not necessarily anything that we can quote unquote take to the bank. Other updates on the budget, we got some word. There was some legislation put in play called eCert, where it was designed to help districts have programs that provide supports to students with acute mental health issues. We have been told we're supposed to get $300,000, but in calling numerous folks, State Department of Ed Commissioner, Department of Social Services, ESS, Effective School Solutions, the board's heard from them in the past, no one knows exactly how that money is going to be allocated. So that's kind of a could happen in some way, shape, or form. We just don't have any firm details. In best scenario, we are awarded the $300,000. We can use it to offset ESS in our budget, and that would free up $300,000 to pay for other things. But it's too soon to know whether that will happen. We're also waiting on the Nor'easter Academy grant, but last year we did not get notified about that until June, so that by then the budget will be completed. And then last but not least, the education cost sharing grant is money that goes to the town, theoretically used to offset the education budget component of the town. There's been a lot of volatility there this year because it had seemed to hit everyone by surprise, lawmakers, financial people, that ECS was going to potentially go up for communities, but then this reevaluation that every community experienced increased the wealth of every community, including Hartford, including New Britain. So if they don't change the formula, people are probably going to lose money on ECS. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to keep everyone in a flat funding for next year. And I think really the big lift will be whether they change it down the road. But that has been, talking to legislators, talking to lobbyists, I think it hit everybody by surprise that this could volatility, even though they're trying to increase it, the reevaluation and increase of local wealth kind of moved it in a different direction. So again, another area of concern, but my folks that I speak with think we're going to be flat funded. I did speak to Janet, the town finance director, and she's budgeted pretty much as a flat funding. So that's what they're planning on the town side. It's confusing. We don't get this money on the board side. The town gets it. Last year, it was right around $16 million. But, it is something that if the town were to experience a cut, it would put them in a further behind in their budgeting process. So we're hoping that we do get a flat fund on that for the sake of the town. So again, as the chair said, we are still waiting to hear from where the town's going to go with cuts. As the board knows, they were very judicious in cutting the budget sensibly, but we don't have a lot we have nothing more we can do without cutting programs at this point unless we get grant monies. So we will find out our final number in a few weeks. Then the board will have that opportunity to discuss the impact to the budget that they approved. So that is kind of where we're at. And I do appreciate board members who've been advocating along the way. And we'll see where we land in a few weeks.
Yeah, and there's another meeting next Tuesday, and then on the 21st, they will be setting the mill rate and the final budget amount. So there's 2 more weeks of work for them. Yeah. And yeah, like Dr. Berman said, everything is at this point pretty volatile. We're trying to like I talked to Matt Lesser, who brought forward the ESERT
Yes.
grant, and even he doesn't know, he's trying to get to the bottom of it, hopefully before the 2-week mark is up. He knows that we need an answer as soon as possible, on that. And yeah, talking with our state reps too about the ECS funding as well. Just cause that's, as much information as we have that we can share with our council members, the more information they have to set an appropriate budget. So as of now, our operating budget is intact, but we'll see what happens. Okay, any questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Moving on to possible action on the change of the last day of school for students.
Right, as we heard earlier from a citizen comment that this school year has been one of the longer ones due to 4 snow days, and it just happened that many of our school holidays fell on school days. They don't always, and then there's a few lesser impact. In fact, next year there'll be a much less impact. That being said, Newington has always had 181 days for students. Given the extension of the school year, there had been, I wanted to surface consideration to the board tonight that allows students to have the last day on 180 days, which is still in keeping with state regulations, which would put the last day for kids on June 22nd. That's also graduation day for high school. The teacher's last day would still remain the 23rd because they have contractual obligations for additional school days. So that being said, I think having surfaced this notion with board leadership as well as our teaching staff who feel that it is kind of difficult to bring kids back after graduation and the productivity of that day, there is quite a bit of support for this if that is the direction the board wants to take. So turn it back over to board chair.
Yeah, thank you. So I can open up to discussion on this item. Ms. Weaver?
Yeah, I know this year has been rough, capital R on, I think it was the worst winter since 2018 is what I was saying. Just want to say, I talked to some of my counterparts in Wethersfield. They're ending on the same day. Simsbury, I know they're asking teachers back on Monday as well. So they're ending around the same time as well. So we're not the only ones obviously impacted by this. I think the majority was just a lot of the weather events and then hitting at awful times. And I know we'll go into discussion about how that will not be happening next year or the year prior or year after that, based on some of the calendar estimates. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think working with staff, families, we know this is not the ideal situation, but I think it's probably the best we can do with where we're at in this situation right now. So I'm good with it if others are good with it.
Okay. We can read the motion.
I move that the Newington Board of Education change the last day of school for students to Monday, June 22nd, 2026. The last day of school for teachers will remain Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. And I just want to point out too that Parks and Rec did send a memo out a few weeks ago that summer camp will be starting on Wednesday, June 24th. And I believe one of the reasons for that is because, originally our last day was the 23rd, but also students that are graduating and staying up for the all-night grad party are also camp counselors potentially, or, so giving them a day to recover. So recognizing that it does leave Tuesday without childcare, hopefully families can have enough notice to work out or arrange that day for childcare. But I am in favor of the change just because I know that there's also some families that have summer camp or summer vacation plans or have other camps lined up that are not in Newington. And typically the last day of school, while it's fun and everything, it's not a lot of learning happening, but maybe the day before the last day of school, they're still wrapping things up. So just having that last day, I believe it's a half day as well, be on Monday, so that there's less impact to those families that may have plans that they cannot change as far as vacations go. And then just, yeah, so I think any other discussion? All right, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mary Beatrice?
Yes.
Sean Holler?
Yes.
Marissa Lindsay?
Yes.
Timothy Newton?
Yes.
Amy Parati?
Yes.
Brian Skiba?
Yes.
Sam Sharma?
Yes.
Dr. Gail Stanley?
Yes.
Jessica Weaver?
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you. All right, the next item is change or discussion and possible action on changes to our 26-27 school calendar. So this is for next school year.
All right, so what you're going to hear about tonight represents months of discussion at various levels. It includes survey results, discussion with teacher council, discussion with union leadership, and discussion with board leadership, and obviously some of the feedback that we've heard from the community about concerns with disruption to the school calendar. So we did not do a parent survey for this particular year, but there have been in the past parent surveys. So where we landed, and I'll just kind of go over the changes, then show you the actual calendar, is that we want to make the day before winter break a half day. That is a fairly small change, and we were outliers this year in having that as a full day. One of the students actually created a snow day song for me in which they made a pitch to have this as a half day. So, I think that's pretty persuasive stuff. This was a little bit more concerning, and frankly, I do still have concerns, but the PL days, as our board members know, currently we have 2 PL days per month. That was established when I arrived, probably a few years before I arrived. However, as we analyzed that and looked at other neighboring communities, we were on the very high end of PL days that were half days for students. The only district that had more than us was West Hartford. Others had quite a bit less. We are at this calendar that I will be proposing is certainly in keeping with state standards for how much PD our teachers have access to, and will allow us to do all of our critical mandated trainings and more than that. But it is, still a concern that we have a lot of things happening and potentially down the road some new math curriculum. So there is a lot going on there. We did talk to union leadership, and we are allowed to have teachers stay after school one day per week, as long as they have the proper notice and there are no other afternoon meetings. So there may be some more of that in lieu of these PL days. But again, a little concern there, but I think we've certainly heard from our community some frustration about the number of days. The December PL day was moved from December 1st to December 8th. A lot of that was just about balancing the calendar. We moved elementary and middle school conferences to November. That actually was a request from teacher council that they want to see parents sooner than December, so they can start forging, those more, intimate relationships with families. Prior to that, they have exposure at open house, but they don't have opportunity to necessarily have a conference with families at an earlier time. This will move December high school conferences from December 5th and 6th to the 12th and the 13th. And we moved the March conferences, elementary and middle will be March 16th through the 18th, and then move from March 16th through the 18th to March 3rd through the 5th. We did that because moving them earlier in the school year for the fall, we didn't want to have too much of a gap between fall and spring, so we moved those accordingly. So I'll caution the board that not everyone will be happy with this. I would say our teachers are pretty much in favor of this. The survey results indicated relative to the PL Tuesdays that approximately 47% of our teachers wanted to keep them, and 52 or thereabouts did not. So there was a pretty close margin there. I would say most administrators would prefer we keep those PL Tuesdays, But again, acknowledging that they do add up quite a bit when you have other things that impact the calendar. So just so the board knows, this initial calendar was approved on April 9th of 2025. What we're proposing tonight is a revision. So this kind of shows you, not kind of, it does, shows you all those changes. Noting in color code vacations, the PLs, you can see now there's only one PL per month. And conferences too get a little tricky because each level needs to have one night conference, and we can't have them on the same night because parents often have kids in more than one level. And the high school conferences in March need to align with the SAT school day administration. So there's a lot of times I'll get questions, why didn't we do it this way? Why didn't we do it that way? But when you look at all of the ramifications and special circumstances, there are just so many different variables here. So this is what it looks like. One thing also that the board chair had asked me to do, and this is something that many districts do, is listing all of the holidays that exist that we don't celebrate in our school calendar. So on the left side of this chart, you have the holidays that we do celebrate or have a school day off on occasion, well, not every occasion, in some occasions. These are,
Squiggly or the.
yep, they're coded, there's code at the bottom. Holidays begin at sundown is the plus sign. The squiggle line means holidays where schools are closed only if the holiday falls on a weekday. But you can also see that there are numerous holidays that we just do not close on, but we want to make parents aware of that these are, and frankly, staff, to try to avoid any major projects due that day to folks that may not be here that day. You know, we do get occasionally a request for more holidays, or we also get requests for less holidays. But the board did choose a number of years ago to acknowledge our increasingly diverse community. So we do now have representation of a variety of holidays for all of our constituents, be it Christian or non-Christian, Jewish, all of those stakeholders. So these are the changes. And I will now turn it over to board chair. I'll put the verbal up here. It's a little easier to follow than the color codes. But these are the substantial changes to next year's projected calendar.
Thanks. And I do just want to add to some of the, you had mentioned that there's like concern potentially with administration about reducing the number of PL days. Because we do have that like proposed in the calendar, it may require teachers that need something specific to have a substitute teacher in their classroom or have, like coverage for them, which could reflect in the budget as far as substitute teacher or other salaries cost. So we may, I think it's a negligible amount, but we may encumber more money in substitutes due to that. Substitute teachers, I'm so sorry. It's been a long day. Substitute teachers due to that. And then the other thing is Parks and Rec has that program where they are offering a bus to the community center, and then the students are able to stay here for those hours on the PL days. Dr. Brummett had reached out to Bill DeMayo before he retired, and then also proposed there's other holidays that the schools are closed, that town hall is not, and potentially having him add those days to that service. So that's something that we'll reach out to the new superintendent or director of Parks and Rec to kind of make sure they're aware of the other days that schools are closed that parents might need help with. So that was one of the concerns too, that we had, that there's no coverage for the parents that do need help. So that was just two other things about the days. And then can you just remind me, we originally had wanted or had requested that the high school conferences fall on the same day as middle and elementary, but there was a reason why they couldn't for each of them. Do you know that?
Yes, it really boils down to nobody wants night conferences on a Friday. I think there's obvious reasons for that. And we try to rotate the night conferences by level. So to accomplish that, they cannot be during the same time frame. So that is a reality. But back to your earlier point, I know there was the worry that sometimes high school kids become babysitters for their younger siblings when there's half days. That's why,
Well, that was the other days too, that.
yeah, that Bill DeMayo was willing, or his successor is willing to consider adding those into the Parks and Rec program that he has run. And it's fairly popular. We have a good number of kids that participate. I see them coming off the bus on our PL Tuesdays. So that is why we couldn't keep them all together. And then we also specifically had to align March conferences at the high school to the SAT school day administration. So as you can see, there's just so many tugs and pulls and variations that need to be considered. I can only tell you how many meetings we've had to really try to pound this out. And just when you thought it was going to work, some other variable came into play. But this is our best work as of today.
Ms. Weaver. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for the time and effort that was put into this. And I know there was a lot of community or parental concern, about the amount of full weeks. I think we had discussions about the balance of PL time for teachers versus and how we attract teachers with somewhat more PL time, and the split of the 50-50 split on that is noted. So I think it's that hard balance, and then also appreciate looking into basically, all the districts around us and that kind of stuff. But also noting too, I think, could you just scroll? I think the last day would be June 11th. So much more in line, I think, with where we've been in the past. I graduated June 15th.
Yes, June 11th, barring any snow days. Now, mind you, that's a Friday.
Yep.
One snow day tips us into another week.
Okay.
But yes, that's substantially earlier than this year.
Yep. Okay. So I think, and then it looks like, May is pretty full. There's a lot of full days, and obviously, I think it definitely, I know there was concern about instructional learning time, the amount of time and the change in that. And so I think this one, gives more balance to that, and knowing that we have to, put a lot of stakeholders into this. So thank you for the effort that's gone into this very not fun process of stuff.
Are there, Ms. Freeman, go ahead.
If there's going to be a motion read, the second to the last bullet should read, move the November high school conferences from November 5th and 6th to November 12th and 13th.
It's November.
So, but that's not on the calendar. What am I missing?
Yeah, they're November. Maybe they weren't in December and they moved to November.
I think that it's probably just a typo, that it should just say November in there, because high school conferences that were not in December. Just didn't y'all want to motion and vote on something, and then we'd be back here.
Thank you.
Again.
We're done talking about the next, this calendar. Any other comments, or go ahead, Dr. Stanley.
I think, the parents' concerns are very valid too, and I want to respect the teachers, and I do want to give them the time that they need to prepare and to, complete their trainings. I get it. I have trainings that I have to complete every year, on my own time often, and it's not fun. And so I would, encourage us to reach out with a community survey as well to see where this is going, because I think it would honor and respect what their concerns are about the additional holidays and what is the percentage, and making sure that we are, validating the importance of everybody in our community, but not skewing it based on some unvalidated conceptions of what our community wants. And then as far as like the additional days that get added with snow days, I've heard, from other districts that they're taking days out of spring break, and is that ever in our consideration, or can we make a consideration for not having February break? Please don't please don't egg my house, but like, just thinking, because this is an incredibly difficult and challenging weather, and we don't control the weather, but
The board can make any of those decisions. Currently, the practice has been, and it actually may be in policy, so we'd have to review the policy. Some districts have a policy that if you go to a certain date in June, then you start taking days away in April. I think that would be a very challenging procedure because people do make vacation plans. But the board could remove any days in February they want. I know some teachers have asked if we put a full week back in there, so. But yes, the board has the opportunity to make those modifications. I think we do have to have a President's Day in there because of a federal obligation. But any of those scenarios are possible. But I believe our current policy is to use the end of June, and then you would have to tap into April if you got that dangerously close to the end of June. You cannot go to school beyond June 30th per state law.
Jessica, can we look at the policy?
Currently searching.
Do you want to talk about February break, not having February break? Is that,
I can probably table it to a future discussion. Like I would be okay with like getting these revisions. I think it's fine for the next year, but I would like to review the policy and see for longer term. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that like the reason, I mean, we did have a lot of participation about the calendar and emails and just throughout this year regarding the days and how late in the school year. And I think we set the calendar knowing, like I think we set the calendar with June 17th as the last day of school, which was just late in general. And then obviously no one anticipated having so many snow days because it had, but we haven't had any snow days in the past, like maybe one or two over like 3 or 4 years. Like it's been, so I think just like this year got exacerbated by the weather, and then the holidays that we did add did fall on school days. But like looking at next year's calendar, and then in a minute we'll look at the next year's calendar. There's holidays that are not falling on school days. So it's not like those numbers of days aren't adding up as much as they did for this particular school year plus the snow days. So, I mean, this calendar is a lot better for 26, 27 than it even was last year or this current year.
Yeah, I think this year just highlights the system failures. It's like the Swiss cheese method, right? So we make a plan and then there's multiple holes that happen, and then you find the error at the end because we made a plan. We didn't recognize that there were so many Monday holidays. We set the date that was later than usual and we hoped for the best. And then it just highlights that when a system fails because of the multiple snow days, that we should use this as a talking point and a jumping point to improve it for the next time.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I didn't mean to agree when you said there was a system failure, because I think we deliberately made or at least me personally, speaking for myself, deliberately made the decision to have those holidays added due to the representation of students and family in our community. So I just think that, to your point though, it did just extend the calendar, and it became more apparent that it did end up being even later than it was. So that's, but go ahead, Ms. Weaver.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's kind of in the same boat too. I don't know if it's always the holidays. It's a couple different things because Weathersfield going at the same time as we are, like they have different holidays too. Yeah. So it is always a consideration, but I think it's one of those things where, and I think when we first passed this too, I said maybe like every 5 years, because the question we always get is, well, why did we have these holidays? Like at one point, I feel like when I was in the system, like we had Rosh Hashanah, then we didn't, there was these things, and we were like, how does this decision get made? And we can only ask so much demographic information. But we did do, I think, like a full calendar. Was it 2021, 22? And I said maybe like every 5 years, or maybe some kind of cadence to revisit, like what is the community celebrating and those kinds of things. So putting out a survey, like a larger one, maybe. We love all the surveys. Could be of use. I think when we just put what we had, and obviously we had student advocates coming in And that was one of the considerations. That was pretty vocal, and I think, looked at attendance records. We're looking at all these kinds of things, to try and see like, oh, there's a significant amount of people out on this day. Like, that's something to consider as well. So there's that. Also, policy 6111 is our school calendar policy. We haven't gotten to it because it's the 6,000. So I just want to put that out there. It has not been updated since 2001. It does not say anything about when we can't go past. It does say that we should follow the correct recommended calendar. So I do think that should go on our next policy meeting, because we do not follow that by any means. Again, these 25-year-old policies, we're getting through them, guys. We're getting through them.
And I know that on our first year that we had through King's Day off, we had it as a no school for students, but teachers still had a report for a PD day. And I believe, Dr. Brummett, you did get some feedback that they would have preferred to be off for the holiday, as they some teachers and
We had staff that
parents
celebrated it as well.
yeah.
So they felt that it was not fair to them.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we can discuss how to best poll or look at maybe attendance records also for this year for we don't have holiday for. I know like Greek Orthodox Easter came up recently. Yeah, we can talk about how to best get the desires of the community. The thing that, like, even with the survey to the teachers, though, it's always like 50-50, or it's like, a lot of times, not saying not to do it because of this, but I'm just saying that we really cannot make everyone happy. And we as a board have to make the best decision possible with the information that we have at the time. And that's kind of what we're here for. So are there any concerns or questions about the days that we have highlighted, or the changes that we have highlighted for the next school year calendar? I do want to say we always have the opportunity to change the calendar. It is a responsibility of the board, but we don't want to change it every meeting because we want to make sure that people are able to plan and we are able to set forward the days for the next school year with as minimal interruption as possible, because it does require a lot of planning, especially as parents in multiple schools. It is a lot to keep track of. So I would entertain a motion.
It's November, high school conference.
That
It's not December.
It's November.
It's November, so that bullet.
Okay. All of
be
the
modified.
December is
Could
all
just do
November.
as presented.
Okay. Well, should I just do that?
Do whatever you want.
Just do it as presented?
Sure.
Okay. Move the Newington Board of Education adjust the 2026-2027 school calendar as presented.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion? As presented, the calendar in
the
the
calendar.
visual.
Currently.
Just to clarify, we will be looking at the colorful version of the calendar that is on the screen currently.
As presented in visual form.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Carrie Beatrice,
Yes.
Dawn Holler,
Not present for vote.
Marissa Lindsay,
Yes.
Here it comes.
Timothy Newton,
Yes.
Yes.
Brian Spivak,
Yes.
Andy Sharma,
Yes.
Gail Stanley,
Yes.
Jessica Weaver,
Yes.
Yes.
Jessica Maher,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Unanimous.
All right, and the next agenda item, so this is for the following school year, the 27-28 school calendar. Start of school, well, you pull it up, will be August 26th, and the tentative last day of school is even better at June 8th, 2028. Again, with the one PL day per month and the conferences
elementary, middle school in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then high school shortly after.
So this applies the same concepts from what the board just approved to the following year, with the caution that, as has often happened, if this were to be approved this evening, it can be modified at a later date, should we get different feedback from the community and subsequent surveys that may go out.
Any comments or questions on this? Ms. Bieber?
And we don't have like a time always. I know we try and do it like a year in advance and that kind of stuff. I will say I've looked at other districts too, and I know like Windsor just did their calendar maybe a month ago for next year. So obviously never ideal to do it too close to it, but this is for 2 years out and stuff. So we still would have some time to adjust as reiterated.
But there are some parents that reach out
100%
due to work obligations or planned vacations that do appreciate the full year ahead
Like
too.
a trip to Disney requires a lot of planning.
I think Quinn's gonna know. Okay, so just to reiterate too, I think it would be good, and then we can make the adjustments as needed using this next year. Every year's an experiment, obviously, but using that one. So yeah, that sounds good to me. Thank you.
Any additional discussion? There's a motion. Recommended motion.
Move the Board of Education adopt the 2027-2028 school calendar as recommended by the Superintendent of Schools.
Second.
Thank you. Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, we're voting to set the 27-28 school calendar.
Mary Beatrice?
Yes.
Sean Holleran?
Yes.
Marissa Lenzi?
Yes.
Timothy Newton?
Yes.
Amy Parati?
Yes.
Brian Skiba?
Yes.
Sam Sharma?
Yes.
Dr. Gail Stanley?
Yes.
Jessica Weaver?
Yes.
Motion passes anonymously.
Thank you. All right, the next item is discussion and possible action on our contract discussion or contracts for non-instructional administrators.
Yes, I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Diaz. Just a quick discussion point. This is a very small group of individuals. I believe it's 5 people. And Mr. Diaz did not actually have any involvement in negotiating this contract. He's reporting out what was worked on with Mr. Farisi, but this always takes into consideration a variety of factors and comparables and those sorts of things. So, Mr. Diaz, I'll turn it over to you.
Yep. So as Dr. Brummett mentioned, this is a small group of administrators, kind of the unsung heroes or behind the scenes group of administrators. It's a small group, but things like health and safety, security, plant operations, technology, infrastructure, are all things that seamlessly operate in our district. And these are the individuals that manage, and their skill level and expertise is critical in that happening. So the team met with the central office negotiation team during the months of September and October of last year. And as an outcome of the final meeting, both parties agreed. I'll just kind of summarize for you the following. The life of the contract is going to be 4 years, beginning July of 2026 through June 30th, 2030. There is a salary schedule increase that was agreed upon, a 4% increase of each year. As Dr. Brummett mentioned, the negotiating team did look at comparables of non-instructional staff in surrounding districts. To have comparable rates. As I mentioned, we want to make sure that we are also competitive in the talent that we currently have, keep them in district as well, especially with some of these levels of expertise that we currently have. One other factor was a cost share increase that was also negotiated in year 1. That's 0%, but that goes up by 0.25% in year 2, 0.25 in year 3, and 0.25 in year 4. So that's a 20%. By the end of the contract. So those are kind of some of the basics around it. The other language in the contract, any new language just included as well a contribution per each member of $1,500, and then an option for sick time should the administrator have that, be able to use unaccumulated sick days for costs of health insurance, which kind of put them in par with some of our other administrative contracts as well. So bringing this group sort of up to speed with NASA and some of our other groups that we have as well. So it's just kind of a basic summary of some of the negotiations that took place and what we ended up with a final contract.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Dias? Okay. Mr. Newton.
Dan, I know it's dumped onto you, but my question is, we're having an upheaval in this town right now over the tax base and the increases and everything else. And I am a union member. I can't buy into a 4% for 4 years, 16% with the current fiscal situation in this town. I just can't justify it. I think it's precedent setting. It's dangerous. We have other contracts coming up in this year with other bargaining units, and I feel that I know it's really not a significant amount of money for those listening, and there are probably hundreds of them at this point, but I just can't go with it. 16% over 4 years is too much.
Just my question, so when was this negotiated?
September and
October.
October,
I
is when
couldn't
the
see which one.
negotiations
Okay.
happened.
And this is, so it's the, just so I know who we're talking about, because I know it's on the back. It's Assistant Business Manager, Director of Residency and Security, Director of Food and Nutrition Services, and Director of IT. Is there one more, or is there?
My microphone stops working. Mr. Barnes does get the same pay schedule, though he's not in that union.
Okay.
So that's 4 plus 1.
4 plus 1,
So
okay.
it's a very, very small
Five
bargaining
total,
unit.
5.
Okay.
Yep.
And just asking, our teachers were getting 4 in the last negotiation? Okay, and admin was getting?
That's coming before the board in
Board.
a subsequent meeting,
Okay.
and that's a whole different set of circumstances.
Okay.
So that'll be, I
TBD
believe, at our next
on
meeting.
that. Okay. And I think state employees are a 2.5 plus a 2% COLA. That's a 4.25. Is there other districts that have these similar positions that have?
Yes.
And that would be?
Yeah, part of the negotiating process is looking
Was
at
comparable
comparables from other
districts, yeah.
districts. We usually would do that for.
Do we have like where we are? I know Mr. Freese has usually done the one where we do like the salary ranges, like where we are in comparison to our district. Do we have, I just know sometimes other districts don't have maybe like a Director of Food and Nutrition Services, like the same, like comparable
Right, some
position.
districts have,
Yeah.
Sodexo.
Right,
or-
they-
so
they-
that, and
they
some
come out.
districts have DATCO and other bus companies. So I would say that most school systems have a Director of Security. Most school systems have a Director of IT, and most school systems of any, other than very small school systems, have an Assistant Business Manager. So those 3 positions are very typical. The other 2 are because we run our own operations. So,
Sorry, apologies. And just the minimum maximum salary is that, I know Mr. Freese sometimes gives us that as well, or had given us, sorry. Mr. Dias can now provide those, of like min and max where we are with, usually it's like where our step is for teachers, or it's comparable with that way. Was that part
I
of
don't know
this?
if we have it handy
Okay.
tonight. I do know that when we negotiate these contracts, and again, it was very small, it was
Yeah.
Mr. Morgan, who's the head of the union, and Mr. Farisi. But those are taken into consideration, the comps. If that would help the board with any type of decision-making, we could look to see where those are, but I'm very confident that they fell within the range of our neighbors. Again, for the 3 positions that are most relevant to any neighboring districts that would have those positions.
Page 19 of the contract has the minimum and maximums, if you want to.
Yeah, no, I just was wondering what those maximums were in other districts. Like we usually have, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. Sometimes we get that for the teacher ones, or kind of where we fall, min and max for principal, for
Yep.
teacher, step one, those kinds of things. Was just curious on that.
Yeah, we have them for the instructional administrators, but
Okay.
we can try to go back and see. if we
Just
can
given
find
like the
just such a
positions, I didn't know
small
if that was
group.
even
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just last question, was it, like, is there a deadline to approve this contract?
Before July 1st.
Mr. Sharma?
Right, so this was negotiated by Mr. Fabrici, right, before he left. So what's the increase for the 092s for the other admin? What's the increase per year? And then for the teacher contract, is it 3% or 4%?
So the NASA contract, the 092, that's going to be for a future
Correct.
meeting that we'll look at.
It's still being finalized.
And NTA, I think I heard that it was at 4%.
So the teachers at 4%. All right.
They'll be going back on the bargaining table next year. So that's a very large bargaining process where members of the board and the town council will have opportunity to participate.
I mean, they did look at different districts that are around this and then,
Yeah, part of any
we gotta be
negotiating
competitive, right? We cannot
process would be to look at the comparables
All
from,
right.
yeah.
All right.
And to be honest, I think that the money that we saved by not having a whole like legal negotiation process is covering these increases for these salaries. We saved a ton of money by not going through that with lawyers and all of that. So that basically paid for itself.
And we also consult with our attorneys, they read through the final version of it because of making sure the contract language is appropriate. And they give us guidance on, if this were to be rejected and it goes to arbitration, what are your chances of winning? And that plays into these decisions because if they say, sorry, the going rate right now is 4%, go ahead and fight it, but it will likely not be a winner. I can verify that that is the conversation that occurred, but I'm reasonably confident it is. That certainly is the conversation that will occur when we negotiate teachers and the outcomes of the administrative contract that the board will hear about very soon. So it really is about what is the going rate in educational salaries at this time, comparing similarly situated school systems. So those are all the factors that go into play.
And the due diligence was done to look at the surrounding districts and
Yes.
pay scales and all of that, and we were under. I would recommend moving forward. I don't think it's appropriate to base a contract negotiation or a approval on a current in-progress budget discussion, because that has nothing to do with the services that these people or this union is providing. I just don't think that it's an appropriate reason, I guess. But I do know that due diligence was done for this, and I recommend it. But if we want to get more information, that's also appropriate. So I will let others weigh in or entertain a motion. Go ahead, Dr. Stanley.
I'm just curious, like we don't live in a vacuum, and we have to consider all of the data that we have, including the pressure with our community. And I think, we are doing a real disservice if we don't take their considerations and how the reeval and what's going on and what are the standard cost of living adjustments for other state employees. I don't think we can just negate everything that's been happening for the last 2 months and say, we live in a void and we appreciate everything that they do. And so 4%, we can just carry on, because this will continue to be a problem for our town if we have these incredible people get huge increases every year. This is not happening where I work. We don't get these standard increases, and these are nurses, these are doctors that are working. So everybody works hard, everybody deserves, but there's only a limited amount of resources.
Okay, so let's get questions for Mr. Dias to come back on. Go ahead, Ms. Weaver.
Yeah, I would just be curious what our odds are in arbitration, because at that point, then we're just going to spend the legal fees doing that. Like, that's the cost benefit analysis, right? This was negotiated by the union, so, I think obviously.
And Mr. Farisi, that it was.
And Mr. Farisi, sorry. But saying like, okay, if it's standard, then it's going to go. I mean, for me, just like as a state worker, we're getting the 2% and 2.5% COLA and the 2% step increase. So this is less than 4.5%. I'm not saying that's the right thing or not thing. I didn't negotiate it. But it's one of those things I think, like the biggest thing is if it's going to go to arbitration and we're going to spend all that money, I don't want the board's money being spent on legal fees to do that. That would be just my opinion. So I'd be curious the answer on that before voting.
That was one question. Was there, I also heard a few other questions. Is that anything else that you want us to look at or bring back? The
Just my
arbitration
my
piece?
min-max thing of,
The max
yeah,
of the other-
yeah.
Other
Similar-
districts,
Comparable
comparables, the
positions.
comparables.
Yeah, the
of-
comparables. Yeah. And then if you do have, like, just so everyone can see the comparables for the increases too, if they've negotiated recently.
Any other questions that we want answered for next time? Okay, thank you. All right, the next is board policy. Ms. Weaver.
So fun, guys. I don't know who's more excited. Me or the clock. Okay.
I'm kind of tired.
All right. So the first one we'll present is for a vote, but the other ones are just for discussion and first look. Although one has come before, but for the first one, for the 3,000 policy, this is 3205, the nonprofit school and food service account. So this one was created, I think we'll be probably one of the first districts in the state to have this policy, if we are the first district. So this has gone through multiple revisions, been presented a couple times here, also gone back to Dana Markovic's. So thank to Mr. Diaz and Ms. Markovitz for going back and forth. And that it also has been looked at by the State Department of Education folks who do the nutrition side of the evaluations. So what we did was really just simplify this. I know we had some about procurement on like certain levels and certain dollar amounts and those kinds of things. It's all really in with the Buy American Provision Acts, and we link that. So anytime it updates, it will update with that. So this should be a little bit easier in terms of trying to, or needing any kind of massaging as the years go on. So this was approved by, I think, everyone that needed to approve it. If anyone has any questions, otherwise I would encourage passage. We do have to get this through before April 30th, so speak now, forever hold your peace, I guess. I gotta make the motion too. Sean, you wanna make the motion?
Sure. I move that the Newington Board of Education approve board policy 3205 regarding nonprofit school food service account procurement standards.
Second.
Thank you very much. In a second, is there any discussion? All right, we'll vote on approving policy 3205. Roll call vote, please.
Mary Beatrice?
Yes.
Sean Halloran?
Yes.
Marissa Lenzi?
Yes.
Timothy Newton?
Yes.
Amy Parati?
Yes.
Brian Skiba?
Yes.
Sam Sharma?
Yes.
Dr. Gail Stanley?
Yes.
Jessica Weaver?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Rock
Thank you.
on. Thank you guys.
Okay.
Woohoo. We'll let Ms. Markovic's know. She'll be so happy. Thank you again to her and her team and Mr. Dias for going through that. And so the next ones are not for a vote. So we will just kind of breeze through these. And again, always feel free to reach out. So the first one, 930, board staff communications and relations. This one, we changed it because it wasn't even labeled correctly. It was commitment to democratic principles in relation to community staffs. There's a lot here, guys. So anything in yellow is an addition. Anything struck is struck. What we did was really just try and make, I think, this more legible and understandable and try and get at the essence of what this policy was about. So this is really if board is interacting with staff members, not if, and what it had was also addressing like if staff came to board meetings and what they're allowed to say or not say. And then it had cited incorrect policies on complaints and grievances, just not even correct references at all. So we cut all of that. And what we really wanted to note too is a lot of this, I think the last sentence really hits at it, is while the board recognizes the necessity for board and staff communications, the superintendent of schools is responsible for communication regarding all administrative matters. So just trying to make clear kind of where that, yes, chain of command, but also where information flows through. And if we keep scrolling down, so staff communications to board, board communications to staff. Again, it just had very bad references. We did keep visit to schools, in case anyone, that didn't change. And then we didn't like the word problems. It implied a negative connotation. We changed that to matters. That was really it. Questions, we can go to the next one.
I guess like, what's the board?
What's the point of this?
Well, like number 2, like board communication to staff includes policy updates. So like, that's basically like via the website, because we're not like directly
correct
communicating to staff. Should it say like, I know the first paragraph it said like through the superintendent of schools, but like, you know, and I'm like, it implies that we're hiring personnel actions. Like, we don't do that.
Yeah, we thought about this one too. So this one is also revisit. So I think it was also if you have any comments or
I don't
want
like that.
anything, yeah, we can massage that one. It was going back anyway to this one, to policy. But it was more of like, if we make public statements, so that reference there was like, as a board, that's our interaction with staff. We spent a lot of time on that one of not knowing too. So if you have more info on that one, we'll take it. It's a CABE one from like 2001. I don't know. Sometimes we have to, yeah.
I like the first paragraph.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. All right.
Next.
Do another 9,000. All right, this is a fun like switcheroo thing. So we'll move back and forth, but we moved language from this section 1, the highlighted in green, to the next policy, and this policy is going to get removed because it says the same exact thing basically as the other policy. We felt it was very duplicative. So this is function, officers and functions of the officers. Basically says the same thing as 9121. So we felt there could be some consolidation. So we'll go to the next one too. It doesn't lose any of the essence of this poly. Yeah, so the next one is 9121. And we'll also renumber all of these so they're not confusing. There will be no, wait, is it not on there? Yeah, it might be 9140, yeah. Some of them we were already starting to change the numbers. There we go. So this had to do with election officers, then it talked about the chairperson, talked about all of the officer positions. So essentially what it was talking about in the last one. So again, it was just kind of duplicative. So we just literally, there's the paragraph. So most of these are up to date. We just changed some from the nomenclature there, but that was pretty much it. So it doesn't change any of our rules and functions. This is all set in stone by state statute. So it's reflective of state statute. It is current and up to date in terms of duties, but just felt like, why have 2 policies when it's the same? The attorney part of the board. This one we're pretty good with. Yeah. So if you scroll down, I don't think we made many changes. We just literally changed neutral language. I'm trying to look at standing committees. So this one is just, if we keep scrolling down, a lot of it we were good with. I think a lot of it is just that it will flow better from the other one, which we have on like all committees, which we're still gonna consult with the other committees. We have to consult with each chair of the functions of each of the standing committees. But this is really just what is the construct of standing committees. So they follow the provisions of FOIA and that kind of stuff. And just know kind of what we're allowed to do and not do, depending on what the committee is. But all standing committees are subject to the same structure.
The only thing I saw here is that it says each committee may make a report through its chairperson at each regular meeting. Like, I know it says may, so
Yeah.
like, is that like, it can be done, because typically it's only one meeting a month, so like.
Yeah, if we want, we can change it to at a regular board meeting of the board. We just, yeah, I was gonna say made it so that if we want, we can. Like the opportunity is there. The way I would read it is like each committee may make a report through its chairperson at any regular board meeting. Just so they
Yeah, maybe any,
each instead
of implying that it's every.
Yeah. We're happy to take that back.
Yeah, maybe we need like a quarterly or
Yeah.
put some sort of time limit on it. Like they should make a report regularly at any meeting. We'll massage it.
Mr. Halloran?
To just reflect what the current practice is, like each committee will make a report through its chairperson at the next scheduled board meeting. Or the
Can be.
preceding.
I just don't want to like, sometimes things come up. We don't have like a report set. I just didn't want to like.
Current practice
Yeah.
is once a month.
Yeah.
If needed.
Yeah. I like the may make a report too, because sometimes if there's nothing to report, I don't want that to be conceived as it's not a report, even though that is a report, nothing to report. But duly noted. Okay. And again, if you have anything too, feel free to email us. So we moved this one as well to a different policy because it is under the election of members, and under the election of members policy 9070, it literally states the qualifications of members. So again, just a bit repetitive. So we combined it. And that's where we put it. So that was pretty easy. It was a copy and paste completely. The one thing we did want to note too, if we keep scrolling down, we had a long conversation about our student members of boards of education. They are non-voting members. We didn't know how we wanted to put this in, but if we keep scrolling up, actually just the student board of ed member one we wanted to discuss.
I believe they're elected by.
Yes. So we wanted to be clear about like the policy of how we wanted to do this. So we would ask superintendent for input as well as others if we wanted to reflect current practice or if we wanted a broad language on that kind of thing. So we wanted to just see the full board and if people had preferences on how we did it, because I know that is not the current practice, but I know it's through student council.
It is, and
Yeah.
we talked about it tonight before
Yep.
the board meeting started, so they nominate each other and they vote.
Yep.
So it's all student council driven.
And if we wanted to keep it in there and if that was looking to change at any point in time, but we figured that would be it, but we just wanted to let people know if it does change, like we will reflect current practice. So
yes, I have
just
never
wanted to let the
appointed
full
any
board member. Yep.
Mr. Halloran?
If we could just go up to the section that was copied and pasted from the previous policy. Can we just change the second sentence from he/she to they?
Yep.
Just for
Yep.
consistency's
Sometimes
sake.
it might not copy over the
As long as they're all consistent.
strike through. Yep.
In the last sentence is her.
Okay.
All right, any questions on any of these? As always, you can email the policy committee if you have anything else, and their next committee meeting may or may not change.
Yeah. We'll work on that.
And will be posted.
And we'll just keep, just for full sake, full transparency, really trying to make it through all of the policies. This is a lot of work to try and like get through all of them. We've gone through 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 series, 7,000 series. There's no 8,000 series.
the biggest chunk will be the 5,000 and 6,000. Those are the instructional ones. So those will be a lot, but
You have 1 year.
literally the goal is to keep going through. So we welcome any and all input. 9,000 series, I'm hoping to be done the next month or so. But yeah, just wanted to keep everyone abreast that all of these policies are 20 plus years old. So
Thank you. And that brings us back to public participation on any matter related to board responsibilities. If you're in the room, you can come to the head of the table, and if you're online, you can raise your hand to be recognized. Ms. Miano?
Hello again. I just wanted to, after seeing your calendar for the 26-27 school year, I see in January, the Professional Learning Day is on the same week as Three Kings Day. I just want to urge you to look at that again, and take that into consideration, especially with kids, who, get off track or whatnot with inconsistencies in schedules. Having a child that deals with that now, I see what a struggle it is, not only for parents, but also when I'm in the school volunteering, how much teachers have to deal with, when there's, a day of school here, the next day's a half day, then they go to school and then they're off another day. So I just want to ask you to look into that, specifically when it comes to PL days falling on the same week as a holiday.
Thank you. Ms. Havens? Are you on mute, Ms. Havens?
I'm
Okay.
so sorry. I had the hardest time getting my phone to make that button pop up. um, Dana Havens, 113 Stoddard. Did I hear correctly? Was it stated that we are mandated to follow or meet contracts of other districts? I don't ever remember hearing that in past discussions on contracts. As a matter of fact, I remember there was a year admins agreed to forego their increases due to budgeting constraints. And I think it's equivalent to living in our own little bubble for the chair to have suggested the board to essentially disregard the town budget scenario that's happening right now, since these contracts have a direct impact on the budget during the period that we're in. And would also, this would set precedent for other unions for the contracts that are going to be up for negotiation next, and say, well, hey, these guys got 4%, we should get 4%. And God knows what position we'll be in next year. Hopefully way better once everybody pays their taxes, but we don't know. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
And please unmute me because I probably can't find the button. Thanks.
All right, that brings us to remarks by board members. Ms. Beatrice?
I actually have a question regarding the contract again. I'm curious if the insurance contributions, the deductibles and stuff, has that changed from what we see here? In other words, are employees having to contribute more to their health insurance, or is it the same as the last one, or is it less?
Any other remarks by board members? We can just add that to the list for the discussion next. We'll just add that to the list for discussion next time. Yeah.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Ms. Weaver?
just want to say congratulations again at the top of the meeting. Really wonderful to always see our shining examples of our staff. And once again, great production of Anastasia. Always wonderful to see the talent that we have in our school system. And I just want to say thank you to everyone continuing on the budget process. I know this is hard work. And I think it's one of the things that it's really important. We obviously, I think on the board side, we're very aligned on this budget. And I want to say we should keep advocating for the things that we care about. Paraeducator benefits, buses that we need, but the things that I think are important to our school district. So just want to say thank you to all who are continuing to
do the work to try and find something that is mindful of the incredibly difficult economic situation that we are in with the revaluations, but also knowing that the needs don't stop, particularly when we have difficult funding models from different levels of government. So just want to say thank you again for that. And we will readjust, we will update our policy ones so that full participation can be had in both the amazing curriculum and policy committees.
I do just want, I do just want to, make, just a comment on, Ms. Miano's, comment that she just made, sorry. It's been a long day. When we were looking at the days for PL days, we did take into consideration, trying not to have, things like a holiday and then a PL day, or, a PL day and then a holiday, but I think specifically for that one, we knew that it was going to be a day off and potentially a celebration for people, or for Three Kings Day. And knowing that it was already like coming back into the school year from break, the beginning of the year from break, having another PL day that next week would there was another comment, I'm sorry, there's another comment from a member of the public, and we've heard a lot that the full weeks of school, not having so many full weeks of school. So that specific decision was knowing that it was like going into a holiday, having a half day into a holiday made more sense than having another week of school where there was half a day and not a full week of school. So there is consideration made. Obviously, again, every single decision, there's so much, as Dr. Brema went into earlier, there's so many things that go into it, and we're not claiming that everything's perfect, but there was a lot of consideration. So definitely hearing members of the public speak is helpful so that we can take that into consideration as well, and learn from everything that goes on. Dr. Brema, yeah, go ahead.
Just two quick things. This little box of goodies is from the Habib family. They dropped it by for the board as a gift of gratitude for the holidays that have been honored in the district. So grab some on your way home. They're quite tasty. They sent a little sample to the board too. Board of Ed office upstairs. And I just want to thank Sally. She was a sub board clerk tonight. Found out about noon today, and that Deb was not well enough to come back to work, and I thought she did a fabulous job. So thank you, Sally.
Thank you, Sally, for filling in.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned 9:31. Never.